really just kind of a matter of mixing as much kind of things as you can, getting as many perspectives as you can. Trying to avoid the ivory tower that sometimes you can get lost in philosophy, because I think in the kind of society that we live in, our kind of increasingly secular society, it gets harder and harder to find ready-made roadmaps for how to live your life, and so you have less and less things to. How do I want to say this? I guess just more along the lines of, we have all of these different things to choose from, and I think one of the things that hip hop is great is that it gives us a whole bunch of different roadmaps of different people who've lived their lives and have achieved some level of success one way or another, and having these conversations about what it means to live a good life or to live a happy life. And that's something that makes philosophy and hip hop very interesting, is that in a way all of these people are philosophers that are trying to just find their way through life and how to live their life and the kinds they want to live, and that's just as many different perspectives as possible is what I'm trying to get at, I think.
Josh, you're a hip hop head and a philosophy major. How do you reconcile the two? What has philosophy done for your hip hop interest, and what does hip hop has done for your philosophy interest?
Kind of going along with what Scott said, it just kind of gives you different perspectives on things. You know, I feel like there's a lot of genres within hip hop itself. You know, with different people coming from different backgrounds, having different topics they want to cover, and I think philosophy kind of helps you open up and kind of see where these people are coming from, because you know, the way hip hop originated, it's grown a lot, it's branched out to a lot of different regions, and I think it's important to kind of keep an open mind when you listen to newer hip hop, because like I said, it's not kind of matching with where hip hop came from. So, you know, if you kind of go into it narrow-minded, it might seem like it's not fitting the form. And, you know, we hear a lot about, you know, good hip hop, bad hip hop, things of that nature. So I think what philosophy gives you is the ability to be more accepting toward the newer genres of hip hop, and then, you know, see where these people are coming from, and also incorporate it into, you know, like Scott said, different perspectives, different ways of viewing life, because everybody has something different to say, and there's really no right or wrong way with that.
Yeah. Martin, I mean, you have a wide interest of areas in which, you know, you find, you know, into the pop culture. I know you're not, you know, extremely into hip hop, not extremely into anything, but you have an appreciation of hip hop. You know, how do you look at hip hop differently now because of your philosophy background or popular culture anyway?
Right. Well, one of the reasons I think I got into philosophy was because I realized that philosophy is not discovered. There's nothing new in philosophy, I think. I mean, you may understand, you know, how philosophy is something different, but really philosophy is not, you know, going out to try to understand, you know, photosynthesis of a plant or something like that. What I think really philosophy has been for me is a way to understand and appreciate feelings or situations that I encounter throughout my life. So for me, what I see with hip hop and philosophy is hip hop is a way for people to articulate what they feel in their soul, as opposed to how they can explain it through their mind. So you always hear people say, well, why can't this artist just say what they want to say? Why lose us in lingo and a dialect that is maybe not digestible to the population in a whole? And I think what I've really come to appreciate via philosophy, looking at hip hop, is that this form of articulation that is hip hop is something that is so unique and so personal to each artist and each individual, that to understand their form of art in the spectrum of hip hop culture is to understand a little bit of their soul, a little bit of what's coming out of the soul, and something more than what the mind can just articulate to another mind.
Jake, you got an A in hip hop and philosophy class. What do you remember out of the class, and how do you think the two come together?
I think in the class we used hip hop as a framework for looking at philosophy, so not the other way around necessarily. Because sometimes philosophy can be pretty dense and dull, especially for people who aren't trained in the field. And so using hip hop as like a relative framework where everyone in the classroom had listened to some hip hop in some respect. They were able to get in at the ground level and talk about these philosophical content without being extremely dense or dull.
Kobe, you are admittedly not a hip hop head, right?
That is
But you are an aspiring teacher, you are a philosopher. How do you think hip hop works in terms of, or how do you think a philosophy works in terms of being able to look at popular culture in general?
Well, I guess I have to sort of go back to Martin's claim where he said that most knowledge is already known. I would disagree with that and saying that I feel like there's so much that's not known and there's so much that needs reworked and that there's so many different ideas. And I think something like hip hop or music in general can help you bring out those ideas. It's sort of like Foucault with unpacking ideas, where if you have examples or if you have something that you can dig yourself into, then it's so much easier to draw meaning from it. I think that's the most important part of philosophy, is trying to draw meaning. So I think that's where hip hop and music in general can help out. It's something that everybody can attach themselves to, and so everybody can draw meaning out of it. So.
Danny, you are an established anti-establishment kind of guy. To what extent does hip hop resonate with you and the ability to sort of deconstruct norms, or as Nietzsche would say, transvaluate values and morals?
I don't know if I necessarily see hip hop as a deconstruction tool. What I definitely see its value is, like any other form of art, literature, it's an expression of the human condition from an individual perspective, the artist's perspective. And at least the philosophy, or at least the philosophy that I find personally interesting, is all explorations of that overarching question of what does it mean to be human.